Welcome back. Theresa Heaney, you want to get in?
I do indeed, because I believe we have the policy that really needs to be looked at in Europe. Catholic Democrats. I'm the only candidate standing in the South constituency that has put the family firmly on my policy. We believe that to support the family is actually crucial. If we're to build a strong nation, strong communities, we must look again at the family. And I'm delighted to know that 250 people, candidates like myself, have signed up to a family-friendly manifesto in Europe, which means that if we are elected, and I really hope the Irish people will look and elect us, that we have a strong cohort of people to ensure that the family, which is under fundamental attack, particularly from the gay and women's movement, which actually wants the abolition of the family based on marriage. And we believe the time is now. We must stand firmly. We must oppose it.
What's it got to do with the European Parliament?
It's got a huge lot to do with the European Parliament, as it does with the Dáil, in fact, because the war is on against the family.
But tell us about what it's got to do with the European Parliament.
Because the European Parliament is pushing the agenda, as indeed is the UN, and the abolition of the family has been clearly detailed.
The European Parliament is pushing for the abolition of the family?
Absolutely, through its policies.
Tell us the policies.
Through its policies.
Tell us the policies that it's pushing to abolish the family.
Well, every attack on the family, every attack undermining the family, forcing mothers out to work, unfair tax discrimination, individualisation. Now we see a granny tax coming. For parents who look after children, grandparents who look after children. All of these
What's that granny tax got to do with the European Parliament?
It's got an awful lot to do, because the European Parliament has been directing for years how many women it wants into the workforce.
What?
It's directing childcare.
It's offering opportunities, choices to women to join the workforce if they want to do so.
Yes, it is, but at a huge cost.
And is that a good idea, to give women choices?
Women already have choices. The choice women do not have at the moment is to actually choose, obviously, who's going to look after their children if the government is coming after the grandparents for granny tax. A woman finds it very difficult to remain in the home through tax individualisation and other policies. That's one of our policy areas. The other policy area is that I'm the only candidate standing in the South that has called for the withdrawal of the dangerous cervical cancer vaccine, which is harming girls. That's coming in from Europe. That's been approved by the European Medicines Board. That vaccine is a hoax vaccine, contaminated. It's contaminated and
but
has
what's it got to do with the European Parliament?
Because the European Medicines Board has approved it for use in countries.
What's it got to do with the European Parliament? What can the European Parliament do about that?
Because health is wealth, Vincent, and unless we look after the health of the nation,
Are you in favour of a granny tax, or are you not?
There is no granny tax, and we've
excuse me, there is a granny tax.
No, Theresa.
Is there a grandfather tax?
There is no granny tax.
Is there a grandfather tax?
Vincent, there's an important point here.
Sorry.
There is no granny tax proposed. There is no granny tax.
Why?
And you can wave any piece of paper you want. This country has a proud record of grandparents looking after their children in the home, and there's no proposal to change that. But when Theresa talks about the family, it would be very nice if you'd clarify exactly what you're talking about. Because you're talking about some families. And if we take a decision in this country to offer equality to gay and lesbian couples, that'll be done by a referendum on marriage equality, which I hope the people will pass.
The gay and lesbian...
Unless I fell asleep during the break, and we're back in 1930 Ireland. This is a republic, and we don't live under God's
not to interrupt, huh?
Thank you.
The last time I debated Theresa, she told us that we live under God's law. I live in a republic where we look after every citizen and treat all citizens equally, or at least that's where we should be striving to go. So when you talk about the family, will you explain which families in Ireland you'd like to get out of it? And when you talk about Catholic Democrats, do you represent Democrats who aren't Catholic?
I'm talking about our policy. Catholic Democrats' policy is a policy to support the family based on marriage. The fundamental unit.
You haven't once mentioned a male. How can you have a family without males?
And that's exactly father, mother, married with children.
You seem to be in favour of grandfather tax.
Fundamental unit of society.
Is that another Fianna Fáil scam?
I look after you, Vincent.
Go on.
Vincent, the Gay Liberation Front published in their manifesto in 1973, revised in 79, that their primary aim is to demolish the family. based on marriage. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
What have you got against gay people?
I'm not, I am not against gay people.
Why aren't you if they're trying to destroy the family?
As long as they don't live here.
I'm not against gay people. I'm against the agenda that is being pushed by the gay liberation movement.
I would ask you, Theresa, to withdraw your comments.
No, absolutely. I have no intention.
This is Christian. This is a Christian.
Vincent, may I finish?
No, let her finish. And Deirdre asked you a point, or somebody asked you a point. You describe yourself as a Catholic Democrat. Simon, does that mean that you wouldn't be in favour of Protestant Democrats? Or would you be, or how about Catholic fascists? Would you be in favour of them?
I'm Catholic Democrats supporting the family, calling for a withdrawal of the cervical cancer vaccine damaging girls, and also, and Vincent, on the water tax, which is also a family issue. All right, because people are being charged and they're wondering why we're being charged for water. The waterways in Ireland and the streams are contaminated with the estrogens from the contraceptive pill, and that report is being held until 2016, until all our water charges are implemented, and then we will be paying.
Phil Hogan is to blame, is he?
We will be paying, Vincent. We will be paying. We've bailed out.
Is Phil Hogan contaminated the water with estrogen from contraceptive pills? Is that it?
I know.
Vincent, I know it sounds hilarious, but it's actually true. And that report, early warnings, late lessons, has been held over until 2016. Until 2016, Vincent, when we will be bailing out the pharmaceuticals.
Okay.